Thank you for joining me for another quick hits conversation. I'm Dr. Robyn. With me today, I have Chris Jerjian and Domenico Ciarallo. I would like to talk about, do we owe the world our brilliance? Domenico, kick us off.
What a loaded question. Yes, the world does deserve our brilliance. And I don't think you take the word brilliance so seriously. There are brilliant people in the world, scientists, discoverers, just amazing people. But every person on planet Earth has a function. So yes, of course, everyone has some form of brilliance to offer people around them.
You and I disagree on this. I don't think I owe the world my brilliance any more than I owe someone a kidney.
Well, brilliance in a kidney is a completely different story. But what I find that when I was thinking about this question, I didn't want to sound too arrogant or didn't want to answer in an arrogant way. But I think that when we strip, even though we probably look at each of us as an insignificant little speck on this massive globe, but we have impact on people that are around us. We impact our family, we impact our spouses, our kids, our co-workers, our mothers, our fathers, our teammates, our cycling friends. Every person that we come into contact, we have an impact on them in one way or another.
Chris, what do you think?
Well, when I heard that question, my initial reaction was, I'm not brilliant. But, and again, it comes to that sort of humility thing. Do we really, I think everybody considers themselves brilliant in something or in some form or another, but it's all relative. But do we owe the world anything is really the question you should really be asking. And I think as a society, there are certain rules of engagement. And, I don't know if brilliance would be at the top of the chart, but definitely respect, civility, decency are sort of things that we owe if we're going to be a functioning society. But as far as the brilliance, I think, is there a trade-off? Is someone going to pay you for your brilliance? It really depends what you define as brilliance. But that's where I was sort of trying to juggle that concept.
Yeah, and I think about Tesla and how he had all these brilliant ideas and everything, and the world just treated him like awful. And so why if the world's going to treat you that badly and they're not going to appreciate you and pay you and whatever, why go work as a bouncer or in a grocery store or whatever makes you happy? I don't think you owe someone your brilliance if they don't treat you correctly.
Well, you know what, I still think when you look at each of us as an individual person, for example, in my case, I was lucky that I was able to play professional hockey. And when I came back from playing professional hockey, I decided to put in time in my community and help kids and coach kids for 10 years. So I gave back to the community that gave to me. And whether I share my brilliance or not, I shared the passion that I love, which was hockey. And I put 150% into helping these kids and coaching these kids and bringing them up to another level because I had that when I was a little kid. So there's lots of ways that you can share your brilliance. And I think the word brilliance is a little bit overrated. It's just that I think that how you can share the good things in life to make other people's lives better and more well-rounded. I think that's the answer.
Yeah, and I think absolutely we can, and if we want to, we should. And I feel like there's definitely an aspect of if you have a talent, yes, ideally you would get to share that and you would want to share that. But I don't think that anyone. So here's an example. I am really good at writing computer code. I hate it. I hate writing computer code. And when I was in college, my IT professors were trying to get me to change majors. And I was like, no. They're like, but you're doing a disservice. You're so good at this. Does that mean because I'm good at it that I should use that killer skill and be sitting behind a computer because I owe the world great computer code?
Well, you should do what you love. Well, look at one of your hometown people on the West Coast in New Jersey, John Bon Jovi. The guy's a brilliant musician, and see how he parlayed his career. He has a restaurant where people who don't have any money can come in and eat for free. And he doesn't, if they have money, they have money. If they want to pay for something, they pay. If they don't have anything in their pocket, they can eat for free. So, you look at one person's brilliance morphs into like an entrepreneur, a restaurateur who basically helps other people who don't have food on the table to actually have a good square meal each and every day.
Chris, what do you think? I see you smirking.
Again, everybody seems to be defining brilliance differently. And it really does come down to what is the brilliance that you're withholding. Because most of us,
withholding, that's a
well,
strong word.
yeah, I mean, when you say owe, then what's the opposite of that? You don't owe. But most people who are brilliant, I think, are automatically sharing what they're doing. It's kind of baked in the cake. Unlike in your case, where you said you're a really good coder, but you just didn't enjoy it. But why would you put your happiness ahead of others, being able to share your brilliance? That doesn't make sense, because clearly you wouldn't be happy, and in the end, it's not going to work.
Yeah. And I think that's the piece where I feel like we're not as good as a society of paying attention to, is that just because I'm good at something doesn't mean I'm obligated to do that thing.
Yeah.
I don't think we should really equate so much brilliance with just the intellectual side of it, because I think brilliance can be many things in terms of being a giving person and giving back to the community, and making other people's lives more worthwhile, and giving people self-worth because of your actions. Of course, it's great when inventors invent things and we get technology advancements, but for sure there's many more of examples of brilliance in terms of just giving unconditionally with an open heart.
Yeah. And I think it's a great opportunity when you find your brilliance to be able to share it. But I don't think that, we should feel obligated to do so. So in psychology, I mentioned it briefly, we call it a killer skill. And that's the thing that you're really, really good at, but that you don't enjoy. It doesn't bring you joy. In fact, it makes you unhappy, which coding does for me. Coding actively makes me unhappy. So that would make no sense if the world demanded that I be a coder.
Exactly. Well, if you can share a brilliance, and you love your brilliance, and you love what you can give to the world, I mean, it's a win-win with situation all across the board. But in your case, even you're an amazing coder, that's not your forte, and that's not what you want to make your part of your life. So it's got to be hand in hand. You just can't be that person and not want to be that person at the same time.
Yeah. That obligation to do something just because you're good at it, I think, is something that we do see. We see that in the world, right? Where people feel obligated because they're good at something to do it.
Yeah, you see people bailing out at the peak of a career, and you wonder why. You just started literally, but they don't enjoy it. It really is an individual decision. But I agree with Domenico when you're saying that giving back, as far as, if you have something to give and you want to help people, that's great. I think that's, but what I've noticed when I was growing up, we didn't hear any of this stuff. And I think the internet has sort of unleashed the communication between people, and you're seeing stuff that you would have never been exposed to. And, people have those skills that you didn't know they had. Even though if you knew them, for a business acquaintance, or, he could be a musician, he could be an artist, and you had no idea that they had those skills, but they're posting stuff and they're sharing it.
Right.
You're absolutely right, Chris. And I said this to Dr. Robyn, just since I've gotten involved with Quick Hits, how many interesting people that I've met and sat in podcasts with, and I've connected with and learned from, because you never stop learning, right? So it's sure the internet's opened up this, and you have to want to absorb all this in. I always say you can walk down the street like a horse with blinders on and just see what's in front of you, or you can take the blinders off and see 360. And, that's a perfect example. Robyn's podcast, bring people together and educate people, and we all grow from it. And, I always say we never stop learning.
And no one has ever grown from an argument where someone's trying to shame them for being wrong. Everyone grows in a conversation that's respectful and kind, and the opportunity to learn. And so I feel like that's where we talk about sharing brilliance. If you're trying to shame someone for not knowing something that that's not sharing brilliance. That's being obnoxious. If you're willing to share your brilliance by being kind and thoughtful and allowing people to kind of work through something with you, ideally, yes, absolutely, that's amazing. But I don't think anyone should feel obligated to share their brilliance, whatever their brilliance is. So that is our 10 minutes. I'm going to thank you guys for having this conversation with me, and I look forward to doing it again very soon.
Thanks a lot. Lots of fun.
Thank you.